Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, uh, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are having Nellie Deutsch. She's a dear friend and she's a dear ELT educator. Nellie is a Canadian education technology consultant and curriculum and instruction developer, blended learning practitioner, mentor, writer, speaker, and community builder. She combines technology and professional development courses with mindfulness practice, which is something so interesting that she's doing nowadays. She speaks at online and face-to-face conferences. She organizes annual informal MOOCs, online conferences, and free online courses and webinars on Moodle for teachers. Welcome, Nellie. It's great to have you with us today, and I hope we'll enjoy our meeting together.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maha, for inviting me. Yes, Maha and I are really good friends, but we've never met face to face.
Unfortunately.
Yes. We will after the virus is over, maybe.
Hopefully, yes. We'd like to start with the very first question. How did you get into ELT? And when did you start blending it with technology? And how did you move on into becoming a trainer and a writer?
How did I become, what did you say?
ELT, English language teaching. How did you get involved?
Oh, an English language teacher. Wow. That's interesting because that wasn't my first choice. I actually studied chemistry and I was hoping to become a chemist.
Oh, interesting.
in an industrial chemist, not just, not a theoretical, but a practical chemist. But for some reason, I got into teaching. I went into a school and I saw what was going on in the school and I thought, this isn't right. I have to make some changes. And that's how I became a teacher. When I thought that, I didn't like the system and I thought that I could change things. Little did I know that the system would probably change me more than I changed it. But how did I become, that's how I became a teacher. It was just a coincidence. And my mother encouraged me to be a teacher. She said that it's a good job for a mother. It's good. It's good.
It's
for
common
the kids.
everywhere.
They're less hours. Yeah, so she thought it would be a good idea. So that's how I got into teaching, and I never looked back.
Oh, interesting. So how did you get into using technology? You are so much involved in technology. You've been doing that for a very long time. How did you start the whole journey?
I started because I was looking for something different. I thought that the way I was teaching English as a second and foreign language wasn't very effective. I thought that, talking at the kids, getting them to speak wasn't effective. And I thought that maybe there was a better way of doing it. So at the beginning, I used different technologies. I didn't start with the internet right away. That came later. So I started with audio and visual, whatever was available to make it more interesting for me as well as for them, because I was getting bored with what I was doing myself. And with technology, it just seemed to, help me connect with the students a lot better, whether, younger students and university graduates and so on. It was a way to connect with them. And as technology became, better and the internet became faster and everything, it made sense that I can actually communicate with my students one-on-one, because what was happening in the classroom wasn't enough. They weren't getting enough time to speak. They weren't getting enough time to be exposed to different things and getting support. And putting them online or getting them to use their emails and communicating with them online just provided better ways to connect.
Yes.
So that's why I started, I guess.
So how did you move along the different platforms? How were the platforms, let's say 10 years ago? How are they nowadays?
Well,
What?
actually, I've been using Moodle for 17 years. You have to understand that I started in the early 90s. It's been a long time. So if I started in 1993 with emails and whatever platform was there. There weren't that many platforms, but there were a few discussion forums at the beginning. Later on in 2003, I started with Moodle. And that's how I communicated with, collaborated, it's more like it, with teachers and their classes. So I started working with teachers across Canada and their students on Moodle. So this was in 2003.
Yes.
That's 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, quite a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. And how do you see the platforms nowadays? Are they moving to the better or
Well, I'll tell you something.
user friendly?
I've used Google Classroom. I've used Canvas. I've used, what else have I used? Edmodo. I've used Schoology. I've used other platforms that have disappeared since. And they don't compare to how Moodle has developed. There's nothing like Moodle. The teamwork, and I believe in teamwork and peer learning is amazing on Moodle. So actually Moodle offers a lot more features and a lot better ways to communicate and connect with learners than any other platform.
Yeah.
Even though Moodle is not completely free, that's the only problem.
Yes.
You need to actually, unless you're using a university Moodle, I don't know if, Mahav, have you used Moodle? I mean, I know you used it with Moodle for Teachers, but
Yes.
have you used it at a university or school?
No, unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to do that because of the time range of our courses. We work on every 3 months. We have a new group of teachers, a new group. I'm sorry, of students. So they just work by terms. So we don't have enough time to work with them, unfortunately.
You mean it's face to face mostly?
Yes, yes, it's mostly face to face. Yes.
I've been working with blended for, I would say, over 10 years, combining face. Oh, there's my friend Camise. Hi, Camise. With with the online and the face-to-face. Right now, it's all online.
Yes.
So as I was saying, Moodle is not completely free. You need to either have it at university
Yes.
or, it costs money to buy a domain and install it. But I managed to do it. I have my own server, so I have complete freedom
Yes.
with all my Moodle sites. And I like that freedom. I think the teachers, I think you do, Maha, too. I think teachers need to go out there and start teaching, not just in the classroom, but beyond the classroom, the way you're doing right now, Maha. It could be through Zoom, it could be through courses, could be a combination of courses on Moodle or Google Classroom or Canvas or whatever. And provide courses for students instead of just working for a school or getting paid by the ministry or by an organization. Why not go out there and teach? So
Because
this is, yeah.
yes. Would you tell our teachers over here what's the advantage of doing that? Yeah. How do you see it from your own point of view?
Well, first of all, teachers, have so much to offer. They could be earning money, extra money, besides what they do in the classroom with what they know how to do. Why be limited to only working for school? Why not do things the way you want to do them, the way you believe in doing them, instead of just working for a principal who tells you what to do and how to do it when you know better. You know, a superintendent or supervisor or whoever, why not be independent?
Mm-hmm.
So I say to all teachers, to teachers out there, start teaching, whether on Canvas, which is completely free, or on Google Classroom, or Schoology, or Edmodo. Start teaching your own courses and start, you know, publishing them and even earning money or doing it for free. I mean, I do it mostly for free, but you don't have to do it for free.
Yes. Yes, so you believe that this is a kind of a special enrichment for the experience of teachers if they start doing this idea of blending both classes face to face and online, or doing it online. You believe it's more enriching than just teaching face to face?
Well, face-to-face is wonderful. I mean, I enjoy the company of, and we are social beings. I mean, being, you know, in the same environment, physical environment as your students is very empowering. But you can't do it all in the classroom. It takes a long time. You would have to be teaching for hours. 1 hour in the classroom or an hour and a half is not enough, especially if you have 40 or 50 or 100, or some teachers have 200 students. I don't know how many you have in your schools, but the classes are huge. How can you get to how can you get to your students unless you also do it online? It's impossible.
Yes. So this reminds me of something, since you mentioned the idea of large classes. Lately, we have seen a number of comments about the problem of having large classes, and the teachers, they are underprivileged and they don't have internet connections except on mobiles, or even one mobile in the family. How would you advise these teachers to act?
I think the phones are amazing. When you talk about mobile, I'm not talking about iPads or tablets. I'm talking about phones. For example, all Google Classroom you can have on the phone. I use my phone quite a bit, and you know, I'm not 14 or 15 years old. A phone is amazing. You know, you can make the writing larger if that's what's bothering you, but in one family, that's a huge question. You know, when there's only one, maybe one, you know, one computer, desktop. So use your phones. Everybody has, generally, kids have their own phones in most countries around the world. Just use the phone. The phone is amazing. You can record yourself. If you're teaching a language, of course, it's really important. You can record yourself, your voice on the phone. You can communicate. You can communicate through WhatsApp and Google Classroom as well. So you can put your content on Google Classroom, for example, or Canvas or Schoology, Edmodo, and you can communicate with your students there, or you can communicate with them through WhatsApp. That's what I do. I have a lot of groups. Actually, for each group of face-to-face students that are now on, well, not right now because nobody's online right now, it's vacation time, but during the year, during COVID-19, I would give classes, I would communicate with my students online. I would have groups for each class through WhatsApp. And that's how I would support the students if they had problems logging in, or if they had problems with the task. It's a lot of work for the teacher, but it's effective.
Yes.
I mean, what better way to
Results, yes.
communicate? Pardon?
It gets better results.
Yeah, you can actually communicate, and their language becomes so much better when you know, they might be writing in their foreign language, but if you're writing to them in English, they're reading English, and even if they're using Google Translate to communicate with you, they're still reading, and they're looking up words, or they're looking up sentences. It's a learning process. Just the online communication. There's a lot of reading, a lot of audio and video, and they're learning. So, you know, why not use it?
Yes, yes. Yeah, and so on the long run, it needs a lot of patience. And once the teachers just get used to the idea of how to work on it and train their students to work on them, and then to start getting better with working on them, it makes a great difference on the long run.
Well, you know what? It's scary at the beginning. I remember the first time I went into a computer lab, computer room, I was scared. It's scary. But so is life, you know, learning something, doing something for the first time. Yeah, things are scary at the beginning, but once you get used to it, and once you do it over and over again, it just becomes easy. And eventually you're the one supporting your students. At the beginning, you may find that, oh, they probably know more than I do, but they don't. They might know how to hold their phone and how to, you know, take Instagram photos or whatever they're playing, but they don't know how to study. And this is where the teacher comes in. So if teachers feel intimidated, or they feel that, you know, they're scared, they're not used to it, it takes practice like anything else. It's a skill. Learning to teach online is a skill. It's like doing sports, or, you know, playing tennis or swimming or whatever, or speaking a language. It takes practice. So I think that teachers are built for this if they only give themselves a chance, if they only try it. You know, and success is actually doing it. It's not thinking about it, or, you know, being scared of it, but it's actually doing it. It's like reading. When you learn to read, it may be difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it's the same thing with working online. It's like reading. It's a technique that you develop with time and with practice. So if anyone is interested, you can join me, and I will take you by the hand and show you the way it works, because it's not that bad. And I think the best way to learn is with someone online, because learning with a person face to face, because this is what teachers tell me, Nellie, can you sit with me physically and show me how it's done? It doesn't work that way. Because when you're sitting with someone face to face, it's very hard to get them to actually go online and try things out. They need to do it online, where they're going to be teaching, fully online, the way we are now. This is the only way to do it.
Yes, and as you said, it seems scary to them at the beginning, but when they get in and get into the maze and try things, they are going to find a way out. But they have to try it with their own hands.
Yeah, you have to not give up. You have to tell yourself, I'm going to do this. You have to self-motivate yourself. Nobody else is going to do it. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it, and you'll be hooked. I mean, most of my online teachers, the teachers that I work with, are hooked. They can't leave because they enjoy it so much. You know what it's like, Maha, right? They don't want it to end.
Yes, yes, yes. It starts like that.
It's addictive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's addictive, because learning is addictive. We're made to learn, and learning online is learning.
Yes, sure, sure. Would you kindly tell us more about Moodle for Teachers, because you have lots of courses over there, and they are all interesting, and they are a kind of built up for teachers, which can break this idea of fear of using technology with their students. Would you give us an idea, more idea about the Moodle for Teachers?
Yeah, Moodle for Teachers is
I've already put the link in the
I
chat box.
can screen share if you let me.
Yes, sure, sure, sure.
You just need to give me permission.
Permission, yes.
Tell me when you.
Okay, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Moodle for Teachers is a Moodle site. It started with the idea of teaching Moodle to teachers, but that changed very quickly. Let me see where I'm going. Whoops, here we go. Wait a minute.
It's the first one?
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the website. This is the course that we're giving right now. Let me just turn this off. I'm going to go in as the, let me log out. I'm going to log out so you can see it, or try to log out. There, I'm logged out. So this is the site. It's called Moodle for Teachers. You could probably find it if you Google it. And everything on the site is free. So if you go to the top where it says free courses and click on list of courses, these are the courses right now. Maha also has a course here that she gives for Evo. I hope you're going to give it this year too, Maha.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hopefully so. I was thinking of changing again, but I will take your
That's
advice.
okay. Yeah, you can change it. You can change it and give the old one. Um, so these are the courses. There's Moodle for Teachers. There are collaborative courses that participants create. There are MOOCs. There's Moodle Training, Electronic Village Online for 21 and 20. English language skills, online conferences. There's one in August, practice tools. You could actually come in here and practice on your own. There's the Science of Learning teacher. So if you click on any of these, you'll be able to get into the courses. For example, evaluate online courses, live, online, virtual. And so under each of these, if you want to know what's up, you go into, say, July or August. Let's write August. And if you'll see what's available for August, what courses are available. So in August, there's Learner Autonomy Supportive Teaching. There's Manage Moodle, which started. There's Moodle Mood Virtual Conference, where Maha is going to present. There's Self-Care for Educators. In addition to self-care, there's also, which is a great course, it's starting in August, there's a course on well-being. If you're interested, teachers need this. I
Yes,
need it.
it's very
So
interesting.
there's a mindfulness practice course every week, every Monday, tomorrow, if you're interested in joining us. And as I said, there's also self-care for educators, where you learn how to care for yourself. So there are a lot of professional development courses that you can take. Most of the courses, except for the mindfulness course, most of the courses are team-based, which means that you don't work alone. I think this is really important. When you work with other teachers on a course or in a course, whatever you're learning becomes a lot easier. So this is something that I highly encourage you. Don't work alone. Find someone to work with, or a few people. Because working alone, it's going to be very hard to motivate yourself. But once you work with other people, which is what happens on Moodle for Teachers, it makes you responsible, and it motivates you to complete the course, to learn. Nobody wants to learn alone. Let's put it this way. We're kind of lazy, so we need others to keep us going.
Yes, this is very
That's,
important. And that's the most interesting thing about the courses that you give, Nelly, that they are collaborative courses.
yeah, I don't know any other way. Tell you the truth, the only, I mean, I don't know, it works. I mean, I've done a lot of, stop screen sharing. I've given a lot of courses, and what I found is that the minute people work together, they can't stop. They just love it. They love getting to know one another, especially the fact that they're teachers from all over. So they're teachers from Egypt, from Morocco, from, are you screen share? Ah, thank you. From Morocco, from Tunisia, from South Africa, from Asia, the Far East, Australia, Canada, North America, South America, Europe. They're teachers from everywhere, and it feels, you know, it really feels good to be able to realize that every teacher is the same. We're all the same. We're not different. It doesn't matter where you come from. We're exactly the same. Teachers are caring individuals who want to teach. They want to help. They love it. I don't know any teacher who's not caring and who doesn't like what they do. So working with other teachers helps you build confidence. And whether you like it or not, your work improves and you become a better teacher, a better person, and life becomes easier and more fun. So you talked about patience. I think you develop patience when you work online with other teachers from around the world. And teachers collaborate on courses. They actually build, I mean, amazing. I mean, I'm amazed all the time at how, creative a teacher can be when the teacher works with other teachers. They just, do more and more and more, and it just gets better and better. And they do better than I do. Tell you the truth, sometimes I sit back and I say, wow, who's the teacher here? Am I the teacher or the teachers? Because we're learning from each other. I'm learning from the teachers, and they're learning, I guess, from each other more than from me. And that's how it is. We learn from one another more than we learn from one person. So it's not just one teacher; it's a lot of teachers learning from each other.
Yes, yes, that's quite true. That's quite true. And I have been in collaboration with Nellie for a long time, and I have already touched that myself. I came to know some interesting teachers, many interesting teachers around the world through Nellie's collaborative platform. So again, it's the idea of accepting communication with others, which is really important. Sometimes you believe because they don't belong to the same nationality, they won't accept me, or I won't seem nice enough, maybe, or maybe having experience enough. But this is not the case. It's the idea when you get to work with each other. Yes, when you get to work with each other, it makes a great difference, especially that all the people who are getting on to do the same work, they respect each other and they would like to learn from each other. This is the most important thing.
I think you've made a very, very important point, because when you work together on a project online, it really doesn't matter, who you are, what religion, like you said, your background makes no difference at all. That's why I say that every teacher is the same. We have that in common, our love for learning, a love for sharing, our love for humanity. I mean, teachers love people. Teachers are very, very, as I said, caring. All they want to do is help. They're like social workers, I guess. They just want to help. They just want to, not just share information. It's beyond that. Every teacher is an educator. And as educators, they're like parents. If it's a male teacher, he's like a father to his students. And if you're a woman, you're like a mother to your students. So it doesn't matter whether it's online or, so we're all very, very parental, fathers, mothers, in how we relate to our students. So we have that in common, and that's something that has no, it doesn't matter where you're from. When you're a parent, you're a parent. You love your students, you care about them, and that's what we have in common. So does it matter whether we're young or old, or, whether our color is green or purple or pink, or, it's like the clothes that you wear. Does it matter if I'm wearing pink or blue, or it makes, nobody even thinks about it. Maha, you mentioned it, and I thought, oh my gosh, nobody ever thinks about it. Where you come from, it's just a country. But when you're learning online with other teachers, there's no border. There's no politics. Nobody ever talks about politics or religion. All we talk about, or all teachers discuss, is how to improve, how to learn, that's all.
That, yes, that's the most important thing. Yes, most important thing. Yeah, and this would take me again a little way back when you talked to us about Moodle and the different kinds of courses that you have there. Which ones would you advise teachers to start with as a kind of professional development plan during this time of the
I
lockdown?
think Cami would, if I may, I suggest the one. Let me get it for you. The one that I shared
Would you
before,
like to share screen once more?
called, yeah, I'll share the link. It's
Share the link or
yeah, I'll share the link with you. Teach online. It's engage. There it is. Teach and engage learners online. That's the. It's a 10-week course, and the reason it's 10 weeks is because there's a lot of work. Teachers develop courses. Let me see if I can get this back. Teachers develop courses together. It's collaborative, so nobody works alone. Where is the chat? I'm looking for the chat.
yeah, you find it below? Yes.
Um,
Have you got it? It's
yes, I got
below.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the course. It's by the way, there are over 20,000 members of Moodle for Teachers.
Oh, mashallah. Oh, God bless you. That's wonderful.
What?
God bless you. That's
What? How
really
did you
good.
say that? Inshallah? What?
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Yani.
Mashallah. Oh, okay.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, I know the law because that's God, right?
Yes, yes, that's right.
The
MashaAllah.
ma, I didn't know. Kidding.
So it means that that's a great thing. God bless you for that. That's really wonderful. Yes. Yeah. So you advise teachers to start with this course?
Yeah, this course starts today.
Yes. Yes.
It starts today. Yeah, I highly recommend it. The only thing is that to log in, you don't use your username or password. There's a video there. Watch the video on the login page. You log in with Facebook. I guess everybody has Facebook who's here. You log in by clicking on the Facebook icon. Okay, so when you see Facebook, click on it and you'll be in.
Yeah. That would be great. Yes. So that's an initial course to start with the idea of professional development. What do you suggest that they do to follow that? They come later on?
Just
Sure.
click on it. They can
No,
click
no,
on
no.
it now. Oh,
No,
you mean the ones on Facebook? Did
no,
you add
no,
it
I
to
mean when
Facebook?
they finish this course, when they finish course, which course do you advise them to do as a kind of professional development plan for themselves later on?
They'll get to choose a platform and they'll be able to continue teaching the course or start another. They'll be ready to teach online.
Yes, when they
And the
do.
one after that, they can take a course every month.
Yeah.
There's a course every month. So all they have to do is if they write down July, they get the July courses in the
I mean, you don't have in mind a special sequence for them to do as a kind of planned
no.
professional development?
Nope. They can take whatever is up. Like every month, there's something else. They can take a course a month or every 2 months.
Yes, that would be great.
Because there's no such thing as like grade 1, grade 2. It doesn't go by grade. You can start any course unless it's an advanced course for Moodle, for example. Right now, there's an advanced Moodle course that they can't take, but all the courses are geared to beginners, to anyone who knows how to get online. You just have to know how to get online. Actually, you just have to have a Facebook account or a Gmail account. That's all you need.
Yes.
And the rest is easy. Look, there are a lot of teachers who've told me, Nellie, I can't believe that the only thing I did before your courses was just send emails. That's the only thing I could do.
Oh
And
my
I'm
God.
thinking of one particular participant from India. Now she's taking a Moodle manager course. She's now a manager of a Moodle
Oh,
site. And she
that's
didn't know how to do it. And she started with, very basic course. But because it's teamwork, it makes it more powerful.
That's quite interesting, yes. And so it's a matter of start, just start and have the courage to do it, and everything is going to go on easily after that.
Yeah, and realize that you're not alone. The minute you join a course on Moodle for Teachers, you're not going to be alone. You're going to be surrounded by good people who are all teachers. They're all teachers, and they're going to hug you and embrace you, and they're going to make you feel so good about yourself. And you're not going to be alone. That's the thing. You're going to be supported, and getting the support of other teachers is much stronger than getting support by a teacher, one teacher. So imagine to be supported by teachers from around the world. Everybody's going to be happy with you and make you feel good. And everybody's very accepting. Some people are people, right? So some people and some teachers too could be very loud or, not aggressive, but, they're different cultures. So, sometimes one culture may have a very aggressive voice, but it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about how anybody's, everybody's very accepting. I don't know how to explain it, but everyone is very, very accepting.
Yeah.
And everybody loves everybody. So I would say Moodle for Teachers is about, a kind of openness to teachers, because everybody loves teachers. Teachers love teachers when they're online, not face-to-face. Face-to-face is another story. Professional development, face-to-face is not the same as online. Online, everybody loves everybody. Face-to-face, it doesn't always happen that way.
Unfortunately.
Right?
Right. I have a question which keeps nagging in my
Yeah.
mind. So you have been working with teachers for professional development using technology, and you have worked with students trying to help them to learn the language through technology. How can we compare and contrast both?
Wow.
Concerning their attitude towards technology.
Well, are you talking about teachers? Are you talking about learning a language, or you're talking about learning technology and teaching with technology?
Teaching with,
or both?
let's say
Teaching
that.
with technology.
Yes. Hello, Nellie.
There's more resistance. There's more, there's more resistance with face-to-face. But once I get teachers online, things change.
Quite interesting.
That's with teachers, yeah. Online, they're more, I don't know, cooperative. They're more willing. They're motivated. They don't worry about, are we going to get paid for this? I don't have time. That doesn't come up online. That's why I say online is a better way, because you don't have your face-to-face colleagues. You're free of everybody. With students teaching a language with technology, they love it. They prefer it.
Why? Why do you think so?
I don't know, not why I think so. They tell me. They're very, very happy with it. They prefer to use their phones to communicate and do their tasks than to do it, on paper. I don't know, paper doesn't exist anymore in my classes, but, in the old days with paper, they prefer to, to speak to a microphone than to speak in the classroom, for example. They might be shy in the classroom, but they won't be shy with, one-on-one. So they're not shy with creating videos and speaking to me and doing plays and role plays. on their phones, but they would be face-to-face in the classroom. So actually using their phones is a lot easier for them, and they feel more connected than they do with what happens in the classroom. They're
Yes.
shy in the classroom. They're not as open. They're very worried about other people and what they might say, and they're more conscientious in the classroom, physical classroom. But online, it's just me, and they always ask, "Are you the only one that's going to see this?" Yes, I am, and I always am. I never show it to anybody.
Okay. So it's a matter of trust as well, which is very important.
A matter of what?
It's a matter of trust as well.
Oh, of course, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
We had, while the teachers were registering for your session today, an Indian teacher wrote a question: isn't the online teaching and learning a much bigger challenge for slow learners? And can online platforms substitute for all the luxury that classroom teaching and learning give? That's a double question.
Yeah, first I'll look, what luxury do we have in the classroom? You mean like posters on the walls?
She didn't explain. She's not here.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
look, the classroom has its place. The face-to-face has its place. The energy in the classroom, the smiles on students' faces, the whole physical contact. I mean, being in the same space, physical space as someone has a lot of merits. I'm not saying that. But in addition, the online environment gives things that you can't have in the classroom. So it's the combination of face-to-face and online is very, very important. You can't really learn in the classroom. You can experience, but you can't really learn. You can't really practice in the classroom. In fact, you can't really learn a language in the classroom, let's put it this way. Just by listening to a teacher, you're not going to learn very much. I mean, a language anyways. You have to go out there and speak it. So how can you speak that much in the classroom? There are limitations to language learning in the classroom.
Yeah. What about the idea of slow learners? She believes, or he believes, I'm not sure, that she's asking or wondering if online teaching is going to be a bigger challenge for slow learners.
Yeah, with the slow learners, yeah, sorry about that. For the slow learners, it's great. First of all, with the slow learners, you have to connect with them and bring them into the online environment. So you might connect with them. And that's what I use. I use WhatsApp. You can use Facebook, Messenger, whatever. But with the younger learners, they don't use Facebook anymore. I mean, Facebook is only for people, I guess, over the age of 40, not for anyone under, 35 or something. It's becoming less and less popular. So
Yes.
for the slow learner, I would connect with a slow learner. That's what I do. I connect with them on WhatsApp, and then I give them the links, and they keep asking questions, and and they love this connection. So with a slow learner, the fact that you're connecting with them one-on-one, on your phone, they're using their phone most of the time, on WhatsApp or Telegram, I don't know, I don't use Telegram, but whatever you're using, it doesn't really matter. It builds, you build a relationship with your student, and the slow learner learns, like you said, Maha, learns to trust you. And once a learner trusts you, they'll do anything. I mean, the minute you get their trust, they're going to love you. They're going to want to learn. They're not going to be slow for very long. I don't believe in slow learners. I don't call it slow anymore. But again, the minute you have a connection, the rest is easy. So all you need to do is just connect. And sometimes connecting face to face is harder.
Yes.
Even if you have the face-to-face in the classroom, I can think of my students before the shutdown and afterwards when we had to connect online. It was easier to connect with them online than face-to-face. Not everybody is willing to open up to a teacher face-to-face. It's harder, especially the slow learners or the ones that are intimidated. But online, they love it.
Yes. As
I
you
encourage
said, there are
teachers
no
to do
barriers.
it. I encourage teachers to connect with your students, even if you're teaching face to face when this COVID-19 is over. Connect, you know, online, on WhatsApp, for example.
Yes, and we have recently heard in one of the conferences lately online, one of the teachers who said we had no other way to connect with our students except WhatsApp, and they even worked for a long time on WhatsApp with with students, and they got great results. So because
That's, yeah,
they want to find a way out, so they want to help the students, so they are going to cooperate with them.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So this takes us.
That's what got me started, Maha. I think that's what got me started. The
Yes.
need to connect, because in the classroom, it's frustrating for the teacher because you can't connect. And you'll have students who misbehave. And the reason they're misbehaving is they just want your attention. And you can't give it to them. You don't have, the facilities. You can't be with everybody at the same time. But online, you can be with everybody at the same time.
A good point to keep in mind and to think about, yes. And here we have another question. This takes us to an important question by one of the people who registered as well for the session, asking for more tools to motivate students online.
Pardon, I'm sorry, I was just reading what someone wrote in the chat. What's the question again, Maha? Sorry.
One teacher was asking for more tools to motivate students online.
Language, you mean language teachers?
Yes.
Or in general? Okay, yeah.
How to motivate students?
You know what? I've never met a student that wasn't motivated. It's reaching out to them, they just want our attention. If you connect, the only way to motivate anyone is to connect with them on a human level. The minute you talk with them, you ask them questions. Maha, I think you do that really well, right? And you're good at it. Just connect with them, talk with them, listen to them, not even talk, just listen to them. They just want to be seen. They want to be heard. And once you do that, there's no such thing as motivation. They'll do anything and they'll be motivated to do everything that you ask them. They just want our attention. They want to feel that we care. And the only way to do that is to listen to them, to give them attention, which you can't do in the classroom.
Yes, yes. And especially, as you said, that they get the feeling that you are getting in touch with them personally, so they feel more comfortable, so they are going to be more than you expect. Yeah. Another question that popped up here also, is there a new technique for teachers' reflections? That's the question. That's reflections, yes. That's how they put the question. She was a lady and she came from Pakistan, no, from Egypt. She's a lady from Egypt. She asked this
She's
question.
asking about reflections in general.
Yes, are there
I
ways?
believe how to reflect.
Online.
Oh, there are a lot of ways. She should join my courses. See, it's not just talking about it, it's experiencing it. What happens on Moodle for Teachers and all the courses, you experience learning. And the minute a teacher experiences learning, it's a lot easier to pass it on to students, because that's what we want to do. We want to experience information. We want to experience learning. It's not just talking about it, it's actually being there. So I think that there are a lot of reflections. How do students reflect? They reflect by creating videos. They reflect by, and there are different ways of creating videos. They don't have to create videos of themselves talking. They can screen share, you know, use the screen to share. They do this on their phones or they do it on their computers. But sharing screens, creating PowerPoint presentations with images, using images to reflect, you know, getting them to think outside the box. And they love this. They love photos. So they take photos. You don't have to reflect only by words. You can reflect by showing images or you know, creating something. So there are different tools for this. But as I said, you have to join. And I encourage whoever asked that question to join.
Yeah, but I believe that she was not referring to students' reflections. She was referring to teachers' reflections.
So was I.
Mm-hmm.
I was referring to teachers because when you come to the course, you'll be reflecting. At the end of the course and sometimes in the middle, there's always showcase and reflect. And what I use is curation boards like Padlet, Wakelet, Miro, Lino. There are different ways of showing reflections, reflecting. And as I said, the reflections can be by text, using text, or using audio visual. You could be using video and audio. I don't know if you're familiar with Padlet, but Padlet is a very good way to not only share information, but also to reflect. So yes, this is how teachers reflect.
Yes, yes. Here we have a question. If you have any questions, please write it in the chat box.
Yeah, there is a question here. I can't
Yes.
seem to get, and she wrote, our bilingual schools in Brazil are really worried about the situation. Language institutes are also worried that possible to have hybrid language and bilingual education from now on. So I don't understand why they're worried. This is from Ednei. Maybe she'd like to speak. She's here in the Zoom class. Ednei.
Yeah, Ednei, would you like to open your mic and speak, please? Ednei?
I'm wondering why that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Ednei, are you here? Maybe, do you have a mic? Ednei, are you here?
There's a question here. What about the time for the course of the course? The time. The course is asynchronous. There are live meetings every Sunday at 11 my time, which is, I guess, in Egypt, that will be around
6:75. Excuse me.
2 o'clock.
Hello.
Maybe? Yes. Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
Great.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, my question is because here in Brazil, we are worried about. I mean, this is mostly because of parents. They are worried about students getting, if they are really learning, having classes online. And we are struggling here with this kind of classes and model at the moment. We are trying harder to teach, but we are having a lot of trouble because parents, they are kind of saying, well, are our children learning? Are our children really having the classes they are supposed to have?
Yeah.
And we're showing them that we're doing our best. We're doing, everything is new for us. And we're doing our best, doing, continual development courses and trying all technology that we can. Our school, for example, is really equipped. We have, the best of the stuff here to teach. But I don't know if it's a matter of culture in our country because people were not accustomed to having classes online. And also for language institutes, because here in Brazil we have lots and lots of language institutes. English is not a second language in terms of learning at school. You learn English either in a language institute or in a bilingual school. So this is becoming a very, very worried situation issue for us. Not us teachers who are working hard to deliver the classes, but mostly parents. They're really
Yeah,
worried about that.
because they
That's my
think that
question.
they're not getting their money's worth. It's about the money.
Exactly. I
They
didn't
think,
want to say this, but
I,
yeah, you hit the
it's about,
bullseyes. That's the
yeah,
point.
yeah, it
That's the point.
reminds
Yeah,
me of,
yeah,
yeah.
I didn't want to say that.
No,
Yeah, but
it's
that's
money.
it.
It's money. They think that if it's online, that it can't be good because they're not getting their money's worth. How can you possibly do anything online? It has to be face to face, and that's what the ministries and with many schools do. Why should we pay teachers for giving classes online? They're not doing that
Exactly.
much work,
Exactly.
when actually they're working harder.
Uh-huh. We're working harder. Well, much harder. I've just finished all my classes. I took 8 hours preparing my classes.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
it's not only your problem, it's in every country. The idea that they should be getting paid for half, or the tuition should be half, because if it's online, this happened with the University of Phoenix in the 1970s with distance learning. Distance learning should be it should be less. You shouldn't have to pay, full tuition, because it's not really face to face. But this
Exactly.
idea is
That's the
going to
point.
change. It's going to change when they realize that there's a lot more work. And the way parents are understanding this is when they have to help their kids. And that's when they realize, oh my gosh, there's so much work here.
And
How are they going to do it? But it's
yeah,
going to take time. I would not give up. I would stay steadfast and explain to them that it's even better. You have to convince them that it's better for their kids because they're getting one-on-one. They're getting personal attention that they didn't get in the classroom, or at least they're getting more attention.
yeah. Thank you very much indeed.
But if you need help with that, contact me and I'll give you some ideas of what to tell parents.
Right, where can I get your contact?
Online or on Moodle for Teachers. You'll be able to, there's a place where you can contact me.
Right. That's okay.
Moodle for
Thanks.
Teachers. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for the intervention, Edney. Thank you very much. Nellie, there is another question over here which says, what about students who are beginners? How can we help them? They can't use technology as we expect them to do for beginners in the language.
Beginners in the language, or beginners with technology? Because nobody's a beginner with technology nowadays. I mean, kids or adults, I don't know what age group they're talking about, but everybody knows how to use a phone, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the technology that most people have. Computers are a bit more complicated. A mouse is more complicated, but using your fingers on your phone, everybody can do, right?
Right. Right.
And that's what it's, so it's not about technology. It's about learning how to use it for the teacher, and for the learner. It's, once you connect with your learners, the rest is easy. So if you're giving a Boom class, or if you're giving, a class on an LMS, a learning management system, it's the same. You still have to connect with them on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or some way on the phone. It doesn't matter whether they're beginners or not beginners. You have to give the beginners more attention. And like the teacher from Brazil said, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of time. You have to be ready for that. But I think teachers enjoy helping, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yes. And again, if we are just patient enough to show them step by step how to use the technology that we want them to use, it's going to pay off on the long run. They are going to follow.
What technology are you thinking of?
Maybe she is referring to a platform or something.
Let's say if we talk about Padlet, it's very intuitive. All they have to do is go to I mean, you show it to them or you ask them to help each other. Let's say you have a slow learner or someone who's new to technology. You can get them to help each other.
Mhm.
You know, you
This is
don't
very
have to be
important, yes.
the teacher doesn't have to be the one helping out. And sometimes it's better if the teacher kind of steps back and let the kids or the students, whatever age they are, help each other. That's what I do. I get them to help one another, and they enjoy it much more.
Exactly, yes. It's the idea of how to start. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
I think that you need encouragement. Some kids need encouragement. You know, if you're talking about parents who are against online and they think it's a waste of time, or so you're going to have to do it one by one. You're going to have to encourage the kids one at a time. But think of a plan. You know, think of how you're going to do it. And if you want ideas, contact me. I'll be or Maha. I'm sure Maha has lots of ideas on how to approach some of these problems and challenges. There are challenges, of course.
Yes, sure. And it's the idea of mainly getting to become courageous enough to venture into using technology. At the beginning, you are going to feel that you yourself, you are timid, you don't believe you are going to work well on it. But once you start working on it, everything gets on much better than, more even than you could believe. It's the idea of just start, be courageous enough to start. That's the most important point.
And you know what? Using technology is great for the brain. It really
Yes.
is. You know, whether you're driving a car or, you know, managing anything, any technology really does, you know, help you gain confidence. So you will gain a lot of confidence as you use it. You know, as you were talking, Maha, I was thinking of how you started using Moodle. I just threw you in the water. I just said, Maha, this is the course. And you asked me a few questions and you just learned on your own.
I can never forget it.
That's how it's done. You know, and you had no choice. And then you use WizIQ and you had no choice. You know, things went wrong and that's it. But it made you stronger. You know, we become stronger with difficulties. You know, I don't mean like, you know, doesn't have to be life and death. But I'm saying, you know, with technology, it's not such a big deal. It's not like someone's life. You know, it's just a computer with tools. So what's the big deal? What's going to happen? So Maha went into a Moodle course and she had to teach in that course. What could go wrong? People are going to say, oh, Maha doesn't know what she's doing. Nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to think that, right?
Right.
So
Sometimes they believe I'm a guru, I'm a tech guru, and they start asking me questions.
you ask, you know.
Yeah,
So
yes,
you
simply.
ask, someone asks you, you find the answer. You know, it's not life and death. It's just, you know, it's just technology.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Another question here by someone from Facebook is called Atul Patil. How to make the processes of online learning and teaching more effective for digital natives?
What does that mean? How to make it more, you mean those that are knowledgeable?
That's how the question came from Facebook. If Atul on Facebook can give us more explanation, we'd be grateful. Aya, would you try to contact her or contact
You
him?
mean someone who knows how to use technology? Nobody really knows more than you do because you've got your content area. It doesn't matter what tool you're using. You're always the teacher. So the teacher always knows whatever they're trying to teach. So it doesn't matter how much the learner knows about technology. You've got your field, whatever that is. So you've got the upper hand. It doesn't matter. And making it more interesting, you could ask that student, maybe that student would like to help. So you could throw back the ball at the student and ask the student, maybe you can think of some ideas of how to do this, or maybe you've got some ideas. I mean, throw the ball at the student, let the student, you know, be creative. I never faced that. You know, as teachers, we're confident that what we know is enough, right?
Mm-hmm. We
I
never.
wouldn't. Yes,
Yes, go ahead.
we're confident. You know, the technology doesn't really matter. It's not the technology; it's what we're going to do with it. So digital natives, I don't even know who they are anymore. Who are the digital natives?
Yeah, if Atul can just give us more explanation, that would be great. And I have a question for you. I hope it's a final question for you, Nellie. What do you think of the future of education and teaching?
Oh, wait a minute. There was a question before I get to that. There was a question from Halal about the time. The course starts, as I said, the live online classes. There are recordings are every Sunday, but the course starts today and it ends on September 20th. Okay, so July 12 until September 20.
That's great. Thank you very much for getting back to that question. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't finish answering. Yes, go ahead, Maha.
Yeah.
So you're asking your last question.
Yes. What do you think of the future of education and teaching?
I can tell you what I hope
Yes.
will happen.
Well, I will tell you Scott's answer, but when you finish, I won't tell you what he said.
I can tell you what I want to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. I am quite pessimistic when it comes to formal education. I've been teaching too long in the formal system, and I've been breaking a lot of walls and fighting a lot of battles. I don't think things are going to change very much. I hope that there'll be more informal learning and less formal learning. That's my hope. But I'm not sure whether it's going to happen. It looks like it is. I hope that schools will be gone in the future and that learning will be independent of buildings or schools. That's my hope.
But what about teachers? Are teachers going to disappear?
Teachers will be out there. There'll be more need for teachers. Teachers will be teaching their own courses at their own schools. They'll be independent of schools. That's my hope. They'll be free. They'll be their own boss. Nobody will tell them what to do and how to do, and students will come to them.
Yes, but the problem is that with formal education, supposedly, that they have, let's say, organized curricula that
I
is
hate to
supposed to...
say this, but it's all BS. I don't believe in formal education, even though I have a PhD. I do not believe in it. And my husband always says, how can you talk like that? You know, you're a teacher. But I've always been fighting against the system. I don't believe in what's going on in the schools. I'm pretty much against it. I'm against testing the way it is. I don't think it's real to life. I think that schools are in the past. They're the dinosaurs that stayed. And there's no place for them in the future.
That's your hope.
That's what I think. Well, I think it's going to happen eventually. I think people are going to wake up and realize that they can learn whatever they want, whatever they're interested in, and that the whole system needs to break down before we build it up again.
Yeah, but maybe sometimes we are hoping for some kind of reform in these education systems all around, but because not all people are able to to give guided education enough to their own students, especially if people are just pre-service teachers or they don't have enough experience.
You want to answer that? comment on it.
I'm just waiting for your comment.
No, I really do think that we're doing things the wrong way. It's not natural. Whatever's happening in schools is not natural. The kids are not happy. University students are not happy. They're just, I mean, if you've taught a university, you know that they just want to pass their exams and they don't care about learning. So what schools are doing is they're taking out the fun and the passion of learning, and they're making it very, very rigid and unpleasant for everybody. Unless you're doing your PhD, that's the only thing that's worthwhile. But doing your BA is boring. You just want to get your degree and go on. Doing your master's is a bit better. Doing your PhD is great because that's when you're independent. I think that schools have to let go and let the students, give them more autonomy and more freedom than they're given right now. The system is keeping everybody locked in, and they're taking out the creativity and a lot of things that it's just all wrong. I think the Greeks had it right. We should go back to the way it was with the Greeks and Socrates and the philosophers. Just sit around and talk and learn.
So we'll be waiting for you to start this change, Nellie?
Nope. I gave up.
Why? You shouldn't be giving up your
I can't. I'm not a political person. I'm not a political person. I can't. I can only change things for teachers who come to Moodle for teachers. That's where I make my change.
So on the long run,
otherwise,
it's going to affect others. On the long run, it's going to make an effect.
Maybe. But I work at a public school system. I work in a junior high. I work at a university. I work for the system, okay? But that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yes. Atul has already added some a comment here over this question of digital natives. He or she said that engaging digital natives more effectively. But there's still, it's not, I think, that clear. What do you think?
Yeah, okay. I think it's the question is too broad. I don't know what it means to be a digital native. I mean, what specifically they know more than others about technology. You know, even computer, I mean, I work with IT people, and when it comes to Moodle, they don't know anything. So does that mean I know more than them? Am I a digital native? I'm not. I just happen to know Moodle, or I happen to know this and that. Everybody has their areas. So when you say digital natives, what exactly do they know? How to use their phones? Maybe they can use, you know, both thumbs to text. They're familiar with gadgets, but a lot of us are also familiar with gadgets. You know, what does it mean? They know how to use Instagram. They have an Instagram account. I don't know what it means to be a digital native. They were born at the right time. I don't know if it means anything, because I have a lot of students who are so-called more than digital natives, and they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to learn online. They don't know how to learn, period. So they need help. So that's where teachers, that's where teachers come in. We are the experts in how to learn, hopefully, right? We've been doing it all our lives. That's why we can teach, because we've been learning. So as learning experts, we've got that. So it doesn't matter, you know, what tool you're using. They still need to learn from you how to learn.
Yes. Nellie, it has been great having this session with you.
Thank you so much. Maha, it was different. We're used to working together on courses, and here we are. Or I'm used to actually listening to you.
Oh. By the way, you reminded me.
So we've turned the tables.
Yes.
People don't know. Usually I invite Maha to speak at twice a year at some of my, at two of my conferences, online conferences. One is coming up in August, and I hope you spread the word about that so people can come and listen to you, Maha. And I love listening to Maha talk about assessments, formal assessments, different kinds of assessments, and how to be part of, what was it, CEREF?
The
The European,
Common
yes,
European
that
Framework.
was really, really interesting. I don't believe in any of that, but I find it very interesting.
Thank God that we try to interest you in something. Yes, that's the thing that I was intending to ask you in the end about the MMVC. Would you kindly tell them about it?
MMVC 20.
Yes, so would you kindly tell them about this? Because
Well, I'm going to let you do that. MMVC is a 3-day online conference from August 7th until the 9th. And Maha is going to be one of the presenters. There are about 18, I think, 18 sessions. And you're all invited, of course.
Yes, and Nellie,
so you can put the links.
Yes, Nellie usually gives this conference twice a year, once in February and another in August. You get in touch with great presenters, and they all help you with different ideas concerning technology, blending it in class, and their own reflections, and especially if there are any case studies that they have already applied in their own classes at different stages, whether at university or in schools. So it's really advisable, and we recommend that you join that conference. Again, it's for free, as Nellie said. You are going to gain a lot from it. The next one, we are going to put it on the page. It's on the 7th to the 9th of August, inshallah, hopefully. Yes.
And there are certificates, of course. In all the courses, by the way, there are free certificates and free digital badges. That's also part of it.
Yes,
people always want to get their badges and
their badges.
digitals.
Yes,
and their certificates.
Yes, and Nelly, you haven't put the link to the conference yet, right?
Oh, you want me to put the link in the chat box?
Yes, would you kindly do that?
I have to look for it. Let's see if I can find it. Let me check for it. It's also on Moodle for Teachers. It used to be on another platform, Maha, if you remember, Moodle Moot.
Yes.
But I decided to get rid of that website, and I put it, so it's an online conference, MMVC. It's also on my Facebook page. There we go. There, I put it in the chat box.
Yes, thank you very much, Nelly. Yes.
You're very welcome. And thank you for inviting me. And I look forward to seeing everyone on Moodle for Teachers.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much, Nelly. It has been a pleasure, and it has been very interesting and informative as usual. Thank you very much, and hope to see you so soon.
Bye for now.
Bye. Okay, thank you everyone for being with us here. It has been a pleasure having you and having Nelly, of course, for this interesting interview. And we have ended the first round of the talk series, and we are going to be having a new series starting August 2020, and hope to see you there. It would be a great pleasure. Thank you very much, and thank you, Nelly, and thank you everyone for being here. If you have any other extra questions, would you kindly send them to us on the page, and we can forward them to Nelly, or you can get in touch with her right away on Moodle for Teachers. Thank you very much, and see you soon. And you are going to find the recording for this session on our YouTube channel. Would you kindly subscribe and share it with other teachers? Thank you very much, and see you soon. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good night and have a nice day. Thank you.